What's going on, everyone? So I finally went ahead and made a free Discord server where I'm going to be sharing all of my trades, ideas, commentary, education, videos, courses, literally all that stuff completely for free for life. And it would probably be like the easiest way to do all of this because Twitter is not really cutting it. And this would be a nice way for all of us to communicate live. And essentially, it's what you guys wanted. And yeah, here we are. So go ahead and click the link in the video description. Follow the steps on how to join. And then send me a message. And it's going to be really fun, I think. And the little social life that I thought I had is going to go completely down the drain. So, all right. So anyway, like a lot of you guys have known me from my YouTube videos. You guys just see, I just post YouTube commentary, you know, But for the people that have followed me for over a year, you guys know me a little bit more well. So I wanted to show you guys some things. So on Instagram, if we scroll down a while, so over a year ago, I used to share how much money I was actually making on swings, which I don't do now. So here's what we can do here. We click this.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? I'm up $2,000.
So the point is so that you can see the dollar value moving, right?
Yo, what's going on, everyone? I'm up $2,000 for the day so far.
Yep. So I would share how much money I was actually making overnight.
What's going on, everyone? Just a quick update. I told you guys.
Cool. So there's that.
Oh, what's going on, everyone? Congratulations to everyone.
There's that. I also share my losses. I was down 430, 300, 250, 300, 1400. This wants to open. Shout out to Derek. Derek is the reason why I made a Twitter and started share. You think you could post your calls on Twitter? I don't think we could get notification. Yep. This guy is literally the reason why I even made a Twitter. So shout out to Derek, the GOAT. So, all right, this doesn't really want to load. Okay, whatever. 1400, 1100 overnight.
Another $1,000-ish for.
Cool. 10,000.
Yep. So congrats.
You can see the dollar value moving.
Yep. So.
All right. 2,000.
Good morning, everyone. So the market just opened. It looks like we're up about $2,000.
Cool. 44.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm up about 4,400 for the day so far.
All right. 1,300.
Good morning, everyone.
Whatever. 1,900. Basically, you guys get the point. And then after these videos, I basically just stopped sharing how much money I was making.
Good morning, everyone.
So this was over the course of like less than a month. So I only shared how much money I was making.
Good morning, everyone.
For about a month. And this was just from the swing trades that I shared with you guys, not including the day trades. So day trading wise, like in general total, I have over an 80% success rate. And the first video, just real quick, this is kind of unrelated, but the first video was on January 7th, 2021. So this was over a year ago. I started sharing how much money I was actually making. And the point of me sharing that is so that you guys really understand that I never charged anyone for anything. I never charged anyone for any money. All of this money that I was making is literally, I flipped this. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into becoming a good trader. And that was my sole focus. I gave everything to it. And if trading didn't work, I didn't even allow the thought of it not working in my mind. I just kept on pushing towards it working. So I was trading for 10 years. Earlier on, I got lucky and I was following crypto. So I made money in crypto. But then on the stock market, it took a lot longer for me to become profitable, like consistently trading. So once that happened, so basically the whole point of me sharing this is that essentially people that really, really work hard, because I'm assuming all of us really, really work hard, right? You guys would not be watching my videos. You guys wouldn't be here if you weren't ambitious people. And ambitious people, everyone essentially wants to get really, everyone wants to make it. And then we think like, oh my God, I'm gonna help my family, I'm gonna help everyone, I'm gonna help these people, da 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 da. So I'm basically at that point. I'm never gonna ask you guys for a penny, ever. And now I'm at a point where it's like I'm getting messages from people like sharing really, really intimate, like crazy stories, like personal things that it's just mind-boggling to me, like how much these trades and like what like I'm doing for helping people is like tangibly helping people's lives, and it's really, really amazing. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well make this Discord, and it'll be fun. So yeah, essentially there's that. I hope you guys, get like a better understanding of who I am. And yeah, man, it should be really fun. So go ahead and click the link in the bio and join up and follow the steps. And then you could always message me anytime privately and we can figure anything out. So yeah, there's that. And now we're gonna go over the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, the 30-year bond, the large tech stocks, and the crypto markets. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. All right, so number one, this week is gonna be very, very, very turbulent. This is the week where we don't force anything. We wait for the market to give direction. All right. The whole point about trading is to consistently make money. It's not a matter of hitting it big. We're not looking for home runs. We're looking to become better traders. As you become better traders, the money is an afterthought. Money comes. Once you have the skill, you can make money with a very small amount of money. You can make a lot of money. So don't worry about making money, especially not this week, okay? Because this week is going to be very, very turbulent. The Fed is basically it's going to be a very, very important meeting for the Fed on Wednesday. We're getting a lot of news on Wednesday, and this whole week is going to be very, very interesting. So just wait. Don't force anything. See what happens with the market. And of course, in the Discord server, we're going to be talking about that stuff live. So yeah, just wait. Just be patient. If you don't want to trade, it's probably the best thing for you, So yeah, so this week is going to be very, very interesting. Never before in history have we had these circumstances. So it's going to be a learning experience for all of us. So it's going to be really fun. So yeah, there's that. Let's go ahead and now look at the garbage charts. So first of all, from a technical standpoint, this is clearly looking very bearish. All right. The equities market looks very, very bearish. So the SPY, the MACD is moving upwards. Yet in the short term, we broke down below this level of support at 420.76, but we technically held above 420. All right. But now we can also see that the RSI is moving downwards, and we can also see that the lower level of the Bollinger Band is pointing downwards as well, which basically signifies that the lower standard deviation is falling, which means that there's more room to the downside. So the SPY clearly looks bearish. All right, there's not really much else to talk about on the SPY. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM. The IWM crossed above on the MACD. The RSI is falling lower, and the Bollinger Bands are also falling lower. We did open up higher on all of the indices, right? We were holding on to lotto calls overnight. Those were up, whatever. All right, so that's irrelevant because we failed at 201.50. We broke down below 200, and then we fell back down below this downtrend line. So overall, it's clearly another bearish setup. But technically, it's not all terrible because we did hold above 196.50. But again, this is not a bullish setup. There's no reason to go long here. And especially over the weekend, this is clearly not the best scenario to go long, right? Especially heading into a very turbulent week potentially. So clearly not a amazing setup. The MACD, when it is going upwards, yet the price is falling downwards, that is usually very, very bearish. So overall, the IWM also looks very bearish. So now we should look at the large tech stocks, the 30-year bond, and then the NASDAQ. So we get a holistic view of how crappy the overall equities market looks. And then we're going to top it off by looking at the crypto markets. All right. So Apple clearly closed outside of the lower standard deviation, which is good. All right. We want to see overextension to the downside. And when you see one of the largest companies in the world, this overextended to the downside, it is a good sign that eventually extreme movements to the downside could happen. But then when those extreme movements to the downside happen, the move upward is also very, very extreme. So that's what we're going to be playing as well. And it's going to be very, very interesting and fun. But essentially, Apple is showing that there is more room to the downside. The MACD, while Apple is falling this heavily, the MACD is still flat, which is very, very bearish. It means that there needs to be a big collapse, essentially. This is basically what this MACD is showing me. This is not a bullish scenario. Also, there's a lot more room to the downside in terms of the RSI. So this candle is bearish. We close outside of the lower standard deviation. The MACD is not even showing any weakness yet, even though we are breaking down below levels of support, and the RSI still has a lot more room to go. So Apple looks very bearish. Let's take a look at Microsoft. All right, Microsoft also looks clearly bearish. The MACD is moving upwards. It's about to cross above, yet it's falling down below and breaking levels of support. The RSI is barely even moving downwards as well, which this is all signifying that there's potentially more room to the downside. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon had a big reversal to the downside as well. Failed at the 20 exponential moving average. The RSI is barely even falling, and the MACD is moving upwards, yet the price reversed. So again, this is not a bullish setup. And let's take a look at Google. Google also clearly looks garbage, right? We failed at this 2650 level. We failed to even cross really above and retest 2750. The MACD is moving upwards. The RSI is falling lower. This is also bearish, okay? We could also take a look at Tesla. Tesla's still trading in its little bull flag formation. Doesn't look terrible, but still, this is not a bullish scenario. I mean, we technically did hold 780, but again, the rest of the market looks garbage. So, just wait, right? Apple is garbage when the large, big fish are looking very, very bad. Everything else really falls into place as well. So the RSI is falling lower. The MACD has not yet crossed down below, so there's a lot more room to the downside for all of these tech stocks. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-year bond and then the NASDAQ. So the 30-year bond is showing signs of bottoming out. We filled the gap, right? And now we're holding above 155. The MACD is very, very oversold, which is usually a good sign that we could start reversing here, right? And if we start reversing while the MACD has so much potential room to the upside for a cross above, that's pretty bullish. And if this starts moving upwards, then the rest of the NASDAQ can potentially start moving upwards as well. So essentially, we just need to watch for strength, continued strength in the 30-year bonds. That would be a very good indication of the overall strength in the NASDAQ. And that could be really, really interesting. So we need to see if the bonds start to bottom out on Monday, Tuesday, and start to really, really show some strength, yet the equities start to really collapse. That would potentially also Bitcoin. We need to see Bitcoin's strength, right? But with those things that I just said, if the equities are falling, if Bitcoin is showing strength, and if the bonds are rising, that would be a good dip buying opportunity, all right? But again, this week is going to be super, super choppy. It's going to be historic. This week, like a lot of these things are going to be very, very historic. So it's going to be really fun to see what happens, to be honest. So there's that for the bonds. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. All right. And here is the NASDAQ. So technically, we did hold above 324. literally at this very, very important support line. But again, this is not the most bullish setup here. The MACD is moving upwards, yet the price is falling lower. That's not bullish. The RSI is barely also falling lower, which basically signifies that there's more room to the downside. And with the lower standard deviation also falling, there's a lot more room to the downside, in my opinion, for the NASDAQ. And yeah, man, I mean, equities just look really, really bad at the moment. The entire stock market looks bearish. And now it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for the proper setup. All right. If these lows break, then obviously 320 is going to be support. And then we're going to come back and retest these lows over here at 318. So if that breaks, then we're going to come back and retest 311. So it's going to be pretty interesting. This week is going to be really, really interesting. And I can't wait. But yeah, essentially the stock market looks really, really bad. In the short term, looks bearish. But all of these things can really change depending on the strength or the weakness of Bitcoin. And we have seen that, right? Time and time again. This is the third time in the past few weeks that when Bitcoin showed strength, it automatically showed strength into the equities market. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the crypto markets now to see if there is a sign of bullishness in the overall markets. All right, so let's take a look at the crypto markets. All right, but first, I want to go over the dollar and gold. All right, so the dollar is obviously skyrocketing. All right, generally, the crypto markets do not do well when the dollar is skyrocketing like this. All right, so that's number one. Dollar is doing very well. Bitcoin generally doesn't do very well. Number two, gold is also clearly skyrocketing. Okay, so we can see that gold is, in the short term, it's been completely outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, so we see both gold and the dollar skyrocketing right now. And now when we look back at Bitcoin, you can see that Bitcoin is just consolidating. Okay, so you can either look at it as this is just showing weakness in the equities market as well as Bitcoin, or the fact that gold is skyrocketing like that, it is a good sign that Bitcoin can start to follow the strength in gold. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but now another thing that I need to show you guys is in the past, so every time Bitcoin has essentially made a peak and then to a bottom, it's fallen at least 70 to 80% every single time in its history. So now technically, if you want to do that same thing, we only fell about 52%. 70% would put us at around $20,000 Bitcoin. And that is still very, very possible, especially in today's market. Okay. And if that is the case, if Bitcoin starts to really, really collapse and fall like this, that would mean that the overall stock market has started to collapse and fall as well. And then if all of those things continue, I don't even think that gold would really hold up either. But I could be completely wrong. But essentially, when things are really starting to capitulate to the downside, funds usually sell everything. But of course, this market environment can be different. So maybe commodities and gold can hold strength. But again, this is not the best sign in the next coming weeks, maybe, for Bitcoin. So we could look at the indicators now, right? For now, right, today's Sunday. This is a daily chart of Bitcoin, and we're holding above support still. We're still holding above 38,500, which is great, right? But this price action is literally it's made to just chop out traders, and this is not a healthy environment for people to trade. And this is really, really tough to catch any real moves. All right. So again, the fact that this is happening, it does show me that potentially we could go on higher, because when there are choppy movements like this, they want to make retail lose money so that retail eventually doesn't have enough money to follow through with a huge move upwards. So that is probably when we do chop around and consolidate like this, as long as we hold support, it's a good sign that we can continue on higher. All right, so this is the daily chart. The MACD is still, the yellow MACD line is still moving on higher. The blue MACD line is still oversold, which signifies that there's still more room to the upside. 39,600 is still going to be the level of resistance to the upside. We're holding this level of support short term. Overall, we reversed pretty heavily off of this low here. We showed a lot of strength today, so now we need to see if we follow through above 39.6. Now, when you look at it on the 4-hour chart, very similar. We're consolidating like crazy here. Okay, the MACD indicator is really squeezing, and the Bollinger Bands are really squeezing as well. So this can be a good sign that, you know, maybe into New York Open, we start to really squeeze to the upside. So that can be really, really interesting if that is the case. But currently, again, you know, really, as long as we hold above 38.5, it's still decent. 38,000 or 38,500, still decent. But if that starts to break, then 35,000 to 36,000 is going to be the next target to the downside. And then that would also signify the strength that we see, the weakness that we see in the overall stock market would also, you know, permeate, and it'll show, and it will continue moving on downwards. All right, so there's my analysis for the day. If you guys are interested, go ahead and, you know, join the Discord link server. It's going to be in the bio. And if for some reason it doesn't work in the bio, I'm going to post it on Twitter if hopefully it works, right? But yeah, so essentially I do this for a living. I've never charged anyone for anything, and I'm not going to start now. So go ahead and yeah, just join the Discord, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Thank you.